So, alright, I removed it. This is a...
Okay, I assume that was the case.
Yeah, this is a game
I was like
where
looking for the mute on him and he wasn't there.
I'm the commander, and I'm pushing up into the enemy's next point as we're capping the other point. And I'm going to show you like things that I have done here that led to us capturing
Light
it.
tank,
And if
Baker's
I hadn't
Park.
been here, we probably would have just not taken this, at least not immediately. So here I'm
Hey,
going.
Gonzo,
I'm gonna
Gonzo,
try to
look,
get inside
look
this
to your
house.
left, there's
I
a
hear
light tank coming up by you.
footsteps around me. I'm not entirely sure if that artillery had just killed the man outside, because I
Directly
think
to
he's
your left,
outside
Gonzo,
right
light
now.
tank.
So I look out there. I don't see anyone. There is someone upstairs. You can probably have saw them now. I didn't notice at the time, but looking back now, I can see that there is someone up there. He doesn't notice I'm there, and the fact he hasn't noticed me, especially that I'm reloading right now, it just shows that there's a lot of newer players. Because anyone that knows how to play this game would have heard that gunfire or that reload and would have immediately decided that, hey,
Sweet,
I need to kill that guy. But then I saw him and I just decided to get a headshot. So, but then I hear this guy and I have to take him out immediately. Now, after I took him out, I noticed that popping up on the recon. That is the guy I just shot. So apparently, if someone's down and hasn't given up yet, they pop up here on the recon plane. So that's something to keep in mind that I wasn't entirely sure about until now. So pretty soon, the enemy's going to be spawning at Hit Misery because we haven't taken out their garrison just yet. I'm trying to get Baker down there to the supplies at G8 because
on the way, we got an enemy tank coming up the road.
Alright, just try to not be seen. That he needs to get a garrison
Jumbo.
as soon as we take Misery, so we have a place to flank them from.
The trench line
I decided to mark the enemy tank that Baker had made so those other tanks can also take them out.
Jumbo is no more.
Alright, guys, make the garrison at
Nice
southern edge inside the trench. So you see that we have some newer players because he just made that garrison in an open field whenever he could have put in the trench instead.
Yeah, my bad.
Unless there's cover there. Now I'm going to start seeing the enemy team spawn. Now, they're all right here, and I immediately know that I'm looking at a garrison because of the amount of people that have spawned here. So I tell the artillery to hit that mark instead of trying to take them all out by myself. Notice that as soon as I started getting shot at, I decided to take cover immediately. I know there's a team coming for me, so I decided to call on a strafing run to take them out. They're throwing grenades at me, but they're newer to this game, and I don't know how to throw it very accurately. I see a guy over here, and I lean over it, and I take him out in one shot. Then you hear the strafing run takes out several other people that I didn't kill. Now I know they're all dead, and I decide to come back and wait for them to respawn so I can shoot them. But I make an updated marker for the artillery so the artillery can more accurately hit the mark. Now I start getting shot again, so you know I'm not gonna be looking at them anymore. You know, because in this game you get shot one time, you're dead. So you got to be more careful. You can't just be looking outside, because as soon as I look outside, I'm most likely to get shot. So I'm gonna hope the artillery takes them out as it comes down right now. And right there, it just killed a few people. And I know that because it got a little bit quiet. And we're starting to take Misery now. Guys, defend southern edge. I'm going to be sitting here a while because there's really no reason for me to advance
enemy nodes at Baker's
or anything because
outpost
I will get killed by the artillery or I'll get shot by someone. So I'm just going to kind of sit here. I decided to use my time to go ahead and use a final stand, and so you guys can understand how this works. This is what you do so you never run out of supplies. You do exactly what I just did. And make sure you spawn tanks and use bombing runs if you feel like it's necessary. I decide now is a good time to take out the enemy garrison because I know artillery will not destroy the garrison. For anyone that wasn't aware of that. I hear someone coming in, so I go and take him out, but it looks like artillery was going to kill him anyway. I'm going to go ahead and establish an airhead so my friendly team has a place to spawn on Misery. I know at that current location that it's a safe spot to drop because our friendlies are nearby so they can defend it. And also they got cover from other buildings around the area. So whenever we take Misery, we can immediately get people over here. Now these guys, they moved into the position and look, the garrison's destroyed and you just see like the whole enemy team just get wiped out by that bombing run.
Their artillery is wrecking us.
And now we're waiting on the supply drop, and as soon as the supplies gets there, I'm going to build a garrison. Looks like Baker did make the garrison in the woods like I had asked him to. And it's probably going to get destroyed at some point though, because like you just said. I dropped an airhead at Misery so y'all have a spawn point. So here I go. I know that the point is clear and it's safe now by the noise outside, and by the people walking around. And so I decide to go and make the garrison. But notice I don't run out in the open. I stay in the trench because you never really know. You can get shot from really far away or something, or hit by a tank or something. So I stay in the trench, but as soon as I need to, I go out. Now, I know the supply drop's going to land around here. I thought about putting it behind that building, but I decided behind this tank will do fine for now. It'll probably get destroyed later, but we just need a garrison now, for now. I just noticed in the chat that someone was asking for a truck, and, well, as you could see, I couldn't spawn anything because we were at max vehicles. If that is the case, you have to run a vehicle off the map or get it blown up somehow. So I'm going to go ahead and call a recon plane, or I was thinking about it. I was thinking about calling in a recon plane because I know there's enemies behind us and get an idea of how much there are. But then I thought of, like, well, maybe it'd be better just to put one east to west later, because the guys behind us are most likely just going to all get wiped out by our ties because they have spawn points and the enemy doesn't, because they can't make OPs or garrisons 2 squares back. And I'll be sitting here a while. I'm going to try to get Baker to a new garrison there, but I decided not to drop supplies there because it'll most likely get destroyed by the infantry in the woods in G9. So I end up making the decision to put the garrison. Oh, someone just shot me. I instinctively turned around, but it turned out to be a friendly who, for some reason, shot me. So I turned around and shot him instinctively, and well, it turns out he's a friendly. I wasn't really saying instinctively very well there, but anyway, so now I decide that now would be a good time for a recon plane, like I was talking about earlier, because the enemies, they have to be in front of us. I think I put the recon plane a little bit too high, because it mostly just picks up tanks.
I'm not worried about them.
I think most of the enemy is spawning at their HQ at this very moment, and that they're on the way to Visery. Now, some of the people on the enemy team are smart enough to go to Bastogne and set up some sort of defense there, because we start getting there actually relatively soon. I end up just drop a supply drop right here, and after I do this, I get a little bit careless about my safety, and I start running around, and I think I eventually get shot, so I can spawn over there, spawn in a truck and get over there. So that'll happen here pretty soon.
They might.
So here we go.
Yeah,
so I run outside because I hear gunfire behind us. Probably the guys from Southern coming, and then I think I get sniped or something. I'm not entirely sure where that came from.
Northwest.
I make sure to tell the team that they are northwest of us, and they'd make short work. I just saw the guy who's behind that cow. Anyway, so now we're gonna skip ahead. And now I get in the truck at the middle HQ, and I go all the way down to, well, first I go to Southern, and I tell the nearby squad leader who's there by chance to make a garrison, and you can see that he just did that. Now I get all the way down here and to my marker, and I always place these markers because it gives me a bearing idea of where I'm trying to go, and you can use T to see those markers, and they'll appear and disappear as needed. Come over here and make this real quick. Now, as I make this, I make a note to caution my team to not just run, just start spawning there and run to Bastogne.
If too many people are spawning there, then you stay at Visery, because we need Visery to be defended.
Yeah, just what I said. We need the people to defend Visery and not have everyone spawn there. So it's just good to let people know that, because not a lot of people know that because they're newer to this game.
Alright.
So I'm going to go ahead and call on a recon plane, and I'm going to try to see if I can get as close as possible to Bastogne and get a garrison up in the odd chance that there may be no one there, which is possible. Sometimes it happens. I decided to not call on the recon plane just yet because I was getting shot at, so it told me that there were some people there. Now I start getting shot with an MG, and that changes things because the MG can actually destroy my truck, so I have to immediately turn around. And I also got shot, so I need to get bandaged. So I'm going to go back, and fortunately the MG stopped firing because I guess he's not aware that he can destroy my truck if he keeps firing at me. So he has stopped firing at me, and I'm going to get out and bandage. Now, I call in a recon plane, and now I'm going to use my bomb and run, supply drop, everything.
Hey guys,
so
you
that
don't
we
have
can
a
get
garrison
a.
at Misery, get a new one placed.
Anyway, so I dropped supplies at
George, I'm dropping
Misery because
supplies.
there's
Go
no
over there,
supplies
take that
there.
area.
People should use support classes, but they
Yeah, roger
don't
that.
for some reason. And now I'm going to go ahead and call on the bombing run. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to put it at the guys in front of
Recon
Misery
will
at
pick it up.
Bastogne. I see that there's more targets at Bastogne and
bombing run will
possibly a
kill them.
garrison at that location, so I decided to throw in a bombing
After
run
the
there.
bombing run moved
Also,
in.
I see my guys that are moving up, so it really, by the time the bombing run gets there, it'll be perfect. I go ahead and decide to strafe these guys because they're just kind of lined up pretty well and I have plenty of supplies. Now, I decide to put a airhead behind and along with the bombing run. Now, whenever you do that, it confuses the enemy and they don't notice the airhead because there's so much bombs going off at the same time. So you'll notice that just about the same time that the bombing run gets there, the airhead is there, and so it makes it a good moment for people to move up. So I decide to get moving myself and just jump in the truck. I tell the guys around me to also move up. I was hoping they would get in the truck and all go together,
there,
but
guys.
the
Go,
truck
go, go.
guy just kind of drove off, and I was like, well, whatever. It really probably doesn't matter that much. It's really more important that the truck get going immediately than they all get in the truck.
Cover as much ground before they spawn, guys.
So now I'm aware that they probably have OPs and they're probably going to respawn at Bastogne, and we need to get there before they do. Now, that's not going to happen. They're going to spawn and they're going to start shooting at me pretty soon. And you can see them, they're right in front. So I immediately turn off.
Light tank.
I don't want to get shot. But I, once again, am going to get shot by the MG. I decided that here was just going to have to do for the garrison. It's not a great spot, but I just needed a place, and as commander, I can only spawn at garrison, so these are like my spawn points. Now, I decide that now would be a good time to throw smoke, not necessarily for myself, but for my friends that are getting shot at,
light tank somewhere
and it
by
turns out to be
Baker's
pretty
mark.
helpful.
It's going to be to your left.
You can see our air hit the floor, but it is red hot.
We're
It
losing
turns out
Misery,
it's not
and
red
it's
hot
going down
because
pretty
they're
fast.
destroying it,
Die and spawn
but
at
there's people
Misery.
near it and they're not aware they're near a garrison. I mean, airhead. It is a little bit confusing for newer players because it doesn't really look like it's a spawn point, it just looks like a little box. So, I decide to run.
Yeah, we're getting hit at Misery pretty hard.
Yeah,
Run straight at them through the smoke, because I am pretty sure he's not going to hit me. And turn out to be right. And now I just wait for the next smoke, and I go to the next one. I'm trying to be a little bit more reckless, because if I die, I can spawn at Misery and help defend. I wouldn't be doing this if I were trying to survive. I don't actually care if I live or die at this very moment, because I know I'm most likely,
Come on, need more
looking
people
at the
spawning
map
at
at the
Misery.
very
They're
moment, I'm
taking
going to have to
it
fall back
really
to
fast.
Misery.
I need some of you guys to spawn at Misery. If you die, spawn at Misery.
Now I'm gonna look through here, and this guy, he's just already looking,
They're on the
and
other
I
side
get
of the
shot
building in
immediately.
the trench over there.
I could have waited and got revived, but I decided that I needed to
You
get
guys
to
need encourage
Misery.
you guys to spawn at Misery.
Now, however, I
Garrison
tried to
at
spawn at
Misery
Misery,
is getting
but I
destroyed.
never could because of the garrison was always getting destroyed. But then I started to notice that at Bastogne we were good,
I
and we
believe
were
we're
gonna
in a
win the
race, but
cap
we are
race.
winning the
So I decided to spawn there on the airhead, and I just run back to that house that I was at, and that's the game. And that's it.